Tonight we're going to talk about something a little different. I'm going to talk about this guy right here. And why this guy is turning into this guy. And what that means to everybody. We're going to be talking about some numbers and facts, and some figures, and maybe some pictures. Maybe we might even incorporate some sound effects. I'm not quite sure yet. I don't know what the future has to bring, but I do know this. Disney is too dang big. They're huge. They're enormous. So let's get into this, shall we? Let's start. Let's look at it from my perspective. Having worked in the semiconductor industry, I can say that Texas Instruments, one of the largest semiconductor manufacturers in the world, not just calculators, purchased two notable companies in an 11-year span of time. Having needed analog design, they bought Burr Brown in the year 2000. In 2011, they purchased National Semiconductor, who specialized in simple switchers and power. And when you take a look at the list of these companies, it tells you something. They needed to fill a void. They weren't doing something. Instead of spending the money, the $6 billion it took to buy National Semiconductor, they could invest in R&D. They bought a glorious palace in Dallas, a big lab. But yet the R&D really isn't there. The innovation, ingenuity, the creativity that made Texas Instruments one of the leaders in years past isn't there. Why? Why is it gone? Intel does the same thing. Intel recently purchased Altera, who did some of the things they wanted to do, but did it better. So why are large companies purchasing other companies? Well, the IP that they have are vastly superior than what they have, and they can grow market share. It's all about growing market share. Texas Instruments grows market share by capturing a segment of market they weren't in before. Purchasing a company and their IP and their wafer facilities, their fabrication facilities, and their design houses around the world allowed them to grow in that market where they weren't before. They don't have to be creative. They don't have to be innovative. They don't have to use ingenuity. Whereas some companies like Maxim Integrated spend years developing new IP in order to capture market share and grow in leaps and bounds, Texas Instruments does it incremental changes. As you can see, the stocks for Texas Instruments are quite good, as are Intel's. And, for the subject matter, Disney is also very strong. And why is this? It's because they purchase many companies and eliminate the competition, thus absorbing the creativity and ingenuity that made those companies valuable assets to begin with. And this is how they gain market share. And they never have to end up being creative themselves. They become stale and stagnant. If we were to look at a list of assets owned by the Walt Disney Company, they're staggering. They're absolutely staggering. And if we look at the picture in the very beginning, which I will leave a link in the description below, from TitleMax, it shows you every single one of the companies that they own. Noticeable ones are ESPN, Marvel, Lucasfilm. But what's really scary is when we take a look at the media conglomerates, the big six, and the six companies that own almost all the media. You have National Amusements that own all of these. CBS, Disney, that owns all of these. Time Warner, which own all of these. Comcast, which has all of these. News Corp, which has all of these. Sony, which own all of these. Mainly European, but noticeable TriStar. So when you look at all of these companies, these six, big six that own all of the media, all the news, this becomes very alarming. When you have single source of all your news, for example, both the left and both the right, you can control the narrative, which is incredibly dangerous. There's no parity. There's no choice. There's no freedom. And this is being allowed. Do you really want a company that offers box office gems like John Carter, Prince of Persia, Tomorrowland, and everyone's all-time favorite, The Lone Ranger, starring Johnny Depp as Tonto? Unfortunately, this looks like our future. So if you want to see more of this kind of content, let me know. And if you like what you see, subscribe. Keep your eyes on the horizon. It's Jack.